I never imagined that pain could be so total, so consuming, like an endless winter night in St. Petersburg that seeps into your bones and refuses to let go. I was 28 when the real storm hit, but the roots went back 5 years earlier, to December 2020. I was 23 then, working as a project manager in a small IT company, handling software development contracts. Life felt stable. I had a decent salary, friends, plans to travel one day. Then, in one single evening, everything shattered. I came home late from work, tired but happy. We'd just closed a big deal. My parents were waiting. Dad, Sergey Ivanovich, an engineer at a factory, and Mom, Elena Petrovna, a school teacher. My younger sister Senya was in her first year of university. The air in the apartment was thick, heavy with something unspoken. They sat at the kitchen table, and Dad started without any softening. "Anna, we need to talk," he said, his voice hard as granite. "You're 23 now, an adult. It's time you lived your own life. We can't keep supporting you." I froze in the doorway, coat still on. "What do you mean? I pay utilities, buy groceries. I'm not a burden." Mom sighed, eyes red as if she'd been crying. "Anya, it's your health. The asthma attacks, the constant hospital visits, we're exhausted. Senya is growing up. She needs space. We think it's best if you move out." The words hit like a slap. I'd had chronic asthma since childhood, but I'd always tried not to be a problem. I worked full-time, studied part-time, saved for inhalers and treatments. That night, none of it mattered. Dad stood up, face set. "Pack your things. We'll help find a place, but you leave tonight." I begged, shouted, cried. "How can you do this? I'm your daughter." Mom just shook her head. "It's for your own good. You'll become independent." They pushed me out the door with one suitcase. It was night, -15 degrees Celsius, snow whipping sideways. I stood on the landing, shaking, no idea where to go. My phone was my only lifeline. I called my friend Marina, sobbing into the receiver. "Please, can I come to you?" Marina lived in the city center with her parents in a tiny apartment. They let me in without questions. Her mom hugged me tight. "Of course, Anya. Stay as long as you need." I slept on their couch for 2 weeks while desperately searching for a room. Those nights were hell. I cried silently into the pillow, replaying the sound of our apartment door closing behind me. The pain was physical as much as emotional. Stress triggered severe asthma attacks, one after another. I spent my last savings on inhalers, ate instant noodles to stretch money. Work became my anchor, but even there I barely held on, showing up with swollen eyes, struggling to focus. Colleagues asked, "Are you okay?" I forced a smile. "Fine, just tired." But nothing was fine. I felt abandoned, betrayed by the people who were supposed to love me unconditionally. My parents called a couple of times. "How are you settling in?" The conversations were cold, distant. No apology, no offer of help. Senya texted once. "Sis, sorry, but maybe it's better this way." I didn't reply. Months turned into years. I rented a damp 20-square-meter studio on Vasilyevsky Island. Gray courtyard view, mold in the corners. Rent ate half my salary, treatment another quarter. I started freelancing nights, coding until dawn, sleeping 4 hours. My body ached, lungs burned, but I refused to break. "I will survive," I told my reflection in the cracked mirror. 2 years later, I hit rock bottom. A big contract fell through, an asthma attack landed me in hospital. The medical bill was crushing. In desperation, I called my parents. "Please help. I can't even pay rent." Mom's voice was ice. "Anya, we can't. We have our own expenses. Senya's studies, Sergey's work. Figure it out yourself." I hung up and cried alone in the hospital ward. The pain peaked. Not just the wheezing in my chest, but the deeper wound of realizing they truly didn't care. I took out another loan, paid the bills, and kept fighting. Pain became my constant shadow. Silence. After that hospital call, something shifted. Enough tears, enough begging. I chose silence, like wrapping myself in a thick cocoon no one could pierce. I blocked my parents and Senya's numbers, deleted them from social media. If they don't need me, I don't need them, I told myself. Life narrowed to routine: work, home, doctor visits. I stopped talking about family to anyone except Marina. She'd gently suggest, maybe reach out one day. I shook my head. No, silence protects me. Holidays became solitary. New Year's Eve with tea and a movie. Birthdays with delivery pizza. My parents tried contacting through mutual acquaintances. I ignored every message. 3 years in, a letter arrived from Grandpa Viktor Mikhailovich, a successful entrepreneur in Moscow who owned a chain of electronics stores. He'd always been busy, rarely visiting, but kind when he did. The letter read, "Anya, come for Christmas. I'll be in St. Petersburg. I miss my granddaughter." I hesitated. He called, "Please, Vanuchka. It's been too long." His voice warmed something frozen inside me. I agreed, for him alone. I stepped into the family apartment for the first time in 5 years on Christmas Eve. The table groaned under caviar, gourmet salads, expensive champagne. My parents smiled too widely. Senya chattered about university. Grandpa sat at the head, eyes shining when he saw me. I stayed quiet, sat in the corner, picked at food, answered in monosyllables. "Dad, how's work?" "Me, good." "Mom, tell us about your life." "Me, fine." Grandpa noticed my thin frame. "Anya, you've lost weight. How's your health? Don't overwork yourself." I managed a real smile. "Thank you, Grandpa, I'm okay." Then he said gently, "I hope the 50,000 rubles I send every month help. Rent, medicine, it should ease things, right?" I froze. "What money, Grandpa?" The room went stiff. Dad jumped in quickly. "Anya, you know. We manage it for you. You're not great with money." Grandpa's brow furrowed. "Manage. The money is for Anya." Mom's eyes filled with theatrical tears. "We're just worried about her." Senya added sharply, "She'd waste it on meds anyway." "We're helping." I stayed silent. Pain flared, but I swallowed it. "Thank you for dinner," I said calmly, and left. At home I cried, but resolved. Silence continues. No calls, no confrontation. Let them stew. Observation. After that Christmas dinner, I began watching, from a distance, quietly. I unblocked Senya on Instagram but never interacted. Her stories showed a renovated kitchen, Italian marble counters, massive smart fridge. Caption: "Dream kitchen complete." Then vacation photos. The 3 of them in Turkey, all-inclusive resort, cocktails on the beach. Family getaway for my graduation. Senya beaming in a new bikini. Dad's VK posts. Shiny new crossover SUV in the garage. Finally got my dream car. I observed my own finances. Barely covering rent and inhalers, moonlighting to pay loans. They lived in luxury. Dad's factory salary was average, Mom's teaching pay modest. Where was the money coming from? Marina mentioned casually one day, "Your uncle, Mom's brother, was at their place. Said it looks like a palace now." They bragged about the remodel. I nodded. Interesting. Observation stretched over months. Designer clothes in Senya's posts, restaurant check-ins, new gadgets. Everything pointed to spending far beyond their income. Grandpa called occasionally. "Are the transfers helping, Anya?" I evaded. "Everything's fine." But suspicion grew. I watched silently, piecing the puzzle. Understanding struck like lightning one afternoon when Grandpa visited my studio unannounced. "Anya, tell me the truth," he said, voice grave. The dam broke. I told him everything. Being thrown out, struggling alone, their refusal to help when I begged. Grandpa went pale. "For 5 years I've been transferring 50,000 rubles monthly to your mother's account, for you. Rent, treatment." The memo always said, "For Anna's support." I gasped. I never received a single ruble. He showed me bank records on his phone. 60 transfers, 3 million rubles total. "They stole it," I whispered. Everything clicked. They'd lied to Grandpa, claiming worry about my health, then spent my lifeline on renovations, cars, vacations, while I fought to breathe and survive. Grandpa's voice shook with anger and guilt. Your uncle described their lavish home. That's when doubt crept in. I should have checked sooner. I nodded slowly. Now I understand. The realization brought clarity, and cold fury. Control. I seized control. No longer a victim. With Grandpa, we planned carefully. First, evidence. Grandpa requested full bank statements. Every transfer confirmed, memos explicit. I gathered mine. Medical bills, loan statements, freelance invoices proving every ruble earned and spent. We sue, Grandpa said. I didn't hesitate. Yes. We hired Alexei, Grandpa's trusted lawyer. He traced their spending. Kitchen remodel, 1 million. Car, 800,000. Vacations, 300,000 plus. Timelines matched deposits perfectly. My parents started calling. Anya, we're sorry. I replied coldly. Too late. Control felt empowering. I expanded my career, launched a small IT consulting firm. Clients grew steadily. For the first time, I built something unbreakable. Justice. The trial took place in a street. Petersburg courtroom, high ceilings, echoing silence. My parents looked diminished. Dad slumped in an ill-fitting suit, Mom pale and hollow-eyed. Senya sat beside them, head down. I sat calm beside Grandpa and Alexei. Evidence unfolded methodically. 60 transfers, memos, their luxury purchases timed with deposits. Not 1 ruble reached me. Defense claimed, family assistance, no malicious intent. Alexei demolished it. They fabricated concern, evicted their sick daughter, spent her survival money on comfort, then rejected her desperate pleas. Where is the goodwill? The judge's verdict rang clear. Defendants guilty of misappropriation. Ordered to repay 3 million rubles plus 5 years interest. The gavel fell. Justice, sharp, final. They sold the house, car, appliances to cover damages. Moved to a rundown apartment across town. Senya took a supermarket job, reportedly screaming blame at them daily. I received the full amount plus interest, proof my suffering had been seen, my dignity restored. Liberation. Liberation arrived quietly, like spring after endless winter. I invested part of the money in my consulting firm, bought a small sunny apartment overlooking the Neva. The rest secured my future. No more fear of unpaid bills or attacks without treatment. One warm Sunday, Grandpa and I sat on his Moscow balcony drinking tea. He updated me. My parents rarely left their cramped flat. Senya struggled alone. I felt no triumph, only quiet sorrow for what greed destroyed, and profound relief that it no longer touched me. It's over, I said, gazing at the sky. Their lives have nothing to do with mine anymore. I'm free. Grandpa smiled gently, pride in his eyes. I had walked through pain, silence, watchful distance, searing understanding, reclaimed control, and finally justice. Now I walked forward, strong, independent, untouchable. My life, mine alone.